It is exactly 9 p.m. East African time. A very good evening to you and welcome to Hope TV Newswatch. On this 28th day of November 2023, a very good evening to you and welcome to the broadcast. My name is Kennedy Kimani and my co-presenter on the sign language interpretation tonight is Boniface Moredi. The High Court has declared the housing levy unconstitutional. In a judgment delivered today, Justices David Majanja, Christine Mayoli, and Lawrence Mugambi declared the housing levy null and void, saying it is discriminatory as it imposes the levy on a section of the Kenyan population. According to the judges, the housing levy only targets those in the formal employment, leaving out those in the informal sector. Employers have been remitting their 1.5% contribution alongside a similar rate for the employees as well. Salaried Kenyans will, however, continue to feel the pinch of taxation after the government asked the court to suspend its decision declaring the housing levy unconstitutional for 45 days so as to allow them come up with a way forward. The court granted the government 45 days to act with the conservatory orders lapsing on the 10th of January next year.
Of the Kenya Roads Board Act 1999 by providing for the membership of Kenya Roads Board at Section 76. Section 77 amends Section 35 of the Kenya Roads Board by inserting a new subsection to the effect that annual estimates shall be submitted together with the collated annual roads program as provided for in Section 19. Section 76 and 78 mainly deal with composition of Kenya Roads Board, which has no demonstrable connection to the Finance Act.
Upon our perusal of the Finance Act, we found that this proposed amendment was not enacted. Section 26 of the Finance Act amended the third schedule of the Income Tax Act to introduce new tax bands. In addition, Section 7 of the Act amended Section 10 of the Income Tax Act relating to withholding tax. The petitioners have not demonstrated how these amendments affect specific provisions of the Constitution. In any event, we hold that these are matters related to tax policy and administration.
Section 84 of the Finance Act violates Article 10, 2BC, 27 and 201 of the Constitution and is therefore null and void. That an order is granted prohibiting the respondents from collecting, charging or otherwise the charge known as the Affordable Housing Act on the basis of the Section 84, and all prayers on the consolidated petition not specifically granted are dismissed, and this being a matter of public interest litigation, each party shall bear its own.
Now, hours after the High Court ruling on the housing levy, President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua have defended the levy. Speaking at the 5th Congress of the International Trade Union Confederation Africa in Nairobi, the head of state said that jobs have been created in the last 8 months, noting that his administration has created up to 120,000 from the housing plan. On his part, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has pleaded with the judiciary not to sabotage the housing program. Speaking in Kwale, the DP has said that the judiciary should support the housing levy.
I am aware that people have gone to court to try to suspend the housing levy and to sabotage the housing program. Much as we respect the independence of the judiciary, I want to request our judges to exercise judicial discretion and not sabotage that program. We have thousands of young people today who are now engaged in a housing program. That program will dignify the people of Kenya. It is the desire of every Kenyan who live in an urban center to own a home one day. And all of you here, that is your desire. Anybody who left the village for the urban to be an urbanite would want to own a home. Nobody wants to continue paying rent. That program enables Kenyans to own a home in an affordable manner.
Still at it, and the Azimio coalition has welcomed the High Court ruling that the housing levy is unconstitutional. Speaking today in Kisii County, the Azimio leaders have now demanded that the Kenya Kwanza government reimburse Kenyans money that has been withheld from their paychecks since the finance bill's passage. Our reporter Nicholas Kivite has more from Kisii. Moving on, the Kenyan government has said that it is committed to increasing domestic funding for emergency plans for HIV and AIDS relief. President William Ruto, while speaking in Nairobi during the 20th anniversary of the president's emergency plan for AIDS relief, has said that funding has been a major setback in the fight against the disease. Our very own Faith Molly has more.
Speaking at the library grounds in Nairobi during the 28th anniversary celebration of the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, PEPFAR, in Kenya, President Ruto expressed gratitude for the transformation impact of this collaboration.
The number of people living with HIV is about 1.4 million, of which about 1.3 million receive antiretroviral therapy from more than 3,000 health facilities across the country. This number includes over 48,000 children, as well as 55,000 breastfeeding mothers on HIV treatment.
While highlighting the remarkable progress achieved in combating the scourge through PEPFAR, the president has emphasized that the support provided by the United States has significantly altered the trajectory of Kenya's fight against HIV/AIDS.
Kenya's partnership with the United States of America through the U.S. President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, PEPFAR, is one of these very rare partnerships. Indeed, it is amazing what PEPFAR has been able to achieve. In fact, as I sat here and listened to what PEPFAR has done, and when I went through the numbers and the notes and what has happened over the last 20 years, and looking at what the decision of one person somewhere very far from us has changed the course of history and made a deadly pandemic into a celebration today.
Reflecting on the devastating impact of HIV/AIDS in Kenya around 2 decades ago, President Ruto noted the deadly rampage it inflicted on households and communities, resulting in numerous casualties, agonizing illnesses, and social-economic devastation.
For millions of Kenyans, therefore, infection has not only ceased to be an agonizing death sentence, people actually remain productive, living as normal members of our community, free of stigma and enjoying a high quality of life.
As Kenya commemorates 2 decades of PEPFAR's impactful interventions, President Ruto reiterated the country's commitment to sustaining efforts in the fight against HIV/AIDS and expressed profound appreciation for the enduring friendship and support from the United States.
Kenya's partnership with the United States of America through the U.S. President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, PEPFAR, is one of these very rare partnerships.
Faith Molly, Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you so much, Faith, for that report. This year's KCP examination results have continued to be contested. The various stakeholders now heading to the court to seek justice. The latest is from the Elimu Bora Working Group, which has now moved to court under a certificate of urgency to stop the ongoing Form 1 selection and seek the restoration of integrity to national examinations. The lobby group now want Education CS Ezekiel Machogu to suspend with the immediate effect the Form 1 selection process until an independent evaluation of the KCP 2023 results has been done, confirmed and validated. Let's get more from our very own Gloria Musimbi.
Just a day after students and parents at Kitengela International Primary School in Kajiado County and Green Hill Primary School in Kisii County filed a case in court, the Elimu Bora Working Group has moved to court under a certificate of urgency to stop the ongoing Form 1 selection and seek the restoration of integrity to national examinations. While calling out the Kenya National Examination Council (NEC) for failing to take prompt action to address the complaints as well as dismissing the concern of parents, the group has said that the 844 era has ended with a big error while referring to inconsistencies in the KCPE results.
Tume la mtihani lihakikishia Wakenya kwamba mtihani itakuwa ya haki na ya huru, ili watahiniwa wote ambao walifanya mtihani wapate mtihani yao, wapate matokeo yao ya kweli ambayo ya true reflection of their abilities and the hard work that they put.
The group has claimed that there has been a breach of integrity of 2023 KCPE results and violation of the students' rights while calling on the Ministry of Education to restore the integrity to national examinations.
From the 2023 KCPE results. 2. That there appeared to be a clear violation of the rights of the pupils whose results have been tampered with and a continuation of processing of the same without an independent validation process may further aggravate the situation. That even though that NEC has acknowledged that more than 130 cases of complaints have been lodged with them and a window of 30 days has been given for the matter so that those others who may be aggrieved may submit their complaints, there does not seem to be a clear mechanism of submitting these claims. Neither is there a clear process of having the same resolved in a transparent and open manner.
The Elimu Group have called on Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu to suspend with immediate effect the Form 1 selection process until an independent evaluation of the KCPE 2023 results has been done and validated.
CS Machogu asimamishe hiyo mambo ambayo wanaendelea nayo ya kuchagua watahiniwa wale wanaingia kidato cha kwanza. Tunaomba kwanza hizo barua za wito waweze kuzisimamisha mpaka wakati ambapo kumaliza haya maneno na kila mtahiniwa apate haki ili waweze kupata shule pamoja.
NEC had issued a statement explaining that the results are accurate and that there is just a system failure, showing a different plus or minus sign. The authority defended that in multiple choice subjects it is possible for candidates to get similar marks. Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Gloria Musimbi.
Thank you so much, Gloria, for that report. You're watching Hope TV Newswatch. It's now time to take a quick break, but after the break, we still have much more, so see you on the other side.
Get ready for the most electrifying gospel event of the year, Praise Atmosphere 2023, on the 9th of December at Sitam Karen, Nairobi, from 2 p.m. onward, featuring Evelyn Wanjiru, Prosper Ochimana from Nigeria, Rehema Simfukwe from Tanzania, Edith Wairimo, Celestine Donkor from Ghana, Wilberforce Musioka, Solomon Mukubwa, Kestin Bogo, and Sharon Ishavuka from Kenya. Regular tickets are available for just 1,000 shillings, 2,000 shillings at the gate, and for the children 3 to 12 years, it's only 500 shillings. VIP and VVIP tickets are also available. Visit www.praiseatmosphere.com/events or use paybill number 800-8575, account Praise. Praise Atmosphere 2023, uniting hearts in worship.
I've actually been trying to find a balance. It's been really tough and hectic, but everyone says once you get a hang of it, it becomes better, and I don't know, but I'm hoping to find a balance soon because it's really been hectic. But you've been in the job industry for a long time, so I think you would know better. Sindio?
Huh? What time is it? I need to catch up on Leadership Forum. Do they have a radio here? Never mind. I brought my own.
No way. You can't be serious. Wait, why do you have a radio and you can just catch up with the shows on Hope FM podcast?
Really? Even Meet of the Word?
I mean, you can find them on whatever platform, name it, AfriPods, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts.
Welcome back. You're watching Hope TV Newswatch. Now, a group of human rights activists has expressed disappointment in the Justice David Maraga-led task force report on the welfare of police officers in the country for allegedly failing to factor in human rights as a central requirement of policing. Addressing the press in Nairobi, the human rights activists and the Police Reforms Working Group Kenya Umbrella recognized the important steps that President William Ruto took to establish the task force, however noting that the police rights need urgent attention for policing to meet its constitutional mandate to Kenyans. Our reporter Grace Ahati has more.
The report to you.
The police reforms report, which was submitted to President William Ruto last week, has elicited mixed reactions from various human rights organizations in the country. The Police Reforms Working Group, a consortium of 21 national and international civil society organizations, has welcomed the report, however noting that it failed to factor in human rights as a central requirement of policing. According to them, the report has failed to mention the assault, unlawful use of force, extrajudicial killings, and enforced disappearances that continue to bedevil the National Police Service.
There is no analysis of the impact of road policing on the life of Kenyans, especially those in poor urban areas or far-flung areas who bear the brunt of unlawful policing. It is somewhat strange that we have not seen any mention of the assault, the unlawful use of force, the torture, the extrajudicial killings, and the enforced disappearances that bedeviled the NPS during 2023 and the Maandamano protests.
The Police Reforms Working Group has pointed out that the task force failed to offer solutions to end the corruption, which is deeply rooted in the police force.
It is somewhat strange that we have not seen any mention of the assault, the unlawful use of force, the torture, the extrajudicial killings, and the enforced disappearances that bedeviled the NPS during 2023 and the Maandamano protests.
In addition, the working group has expressed concerns on the well-being and mental health of police officers in the country, noting that the officers need a comprehensive health insurance that caters for mental health issues. Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Grace Ahati.
Thank you so much, Grace, for that report. Moving on, Second Lady Pastor Dorcas Rigathi is pursuing the county governments and the Ministry of Health to establish a ward in every hospital for rehabilitating those affected by alcoholism, drugs, and substance abuse. Speaking when she opened the Uhururu Rehabilitation and Treatment Center in Tetu, Nyeri County, Pastor Dorcas said the crisis of drugs and substance abuse in the country is worrying and urgent measures need to be taken.
Na pia tuko na wengine tulisema waombe hustler fund wafanye kazi zile ambazo ni kazi ambazo they are not illegal business. Na wale ambao walikuwa wameanzisha our excellency, iko wengine mabwanyenye wakubwa wamengina a lot of money from that. Tuliwaambia wamepata enough profits, basi wafanye kazi zingine. Pia tungependa pia watusaidie kuona kwamba tumeweza kusafisha hii area yetu mpaka tuweze kupata sober people, wananchi waweze kuenda shule, tufanye biashara zingine ambazo ni halali.
What you see here is benefiting some few individuals. So long as these people can remain in that state, kuna watu wanafaidika, wanafurahi wakienda benki, lakini they do not see the destruction they are causing to this world and to our community. Your Excellency, Nakada walipofanya hesabu ya mwisho, the 2022 statement and statistics, zinaonyesha kwamba, na hapa niongee kama chairman wa Central Region, ambayo imeshika Nakuru, ikashika Laikipia, Embu, Tharaka Nithi na Meru na sisi. Ndani ya hiyo kuna watu ambao wanahitaji kusaidiwa kwa hii kazi ambao pastor anafanya, Pastor Rigathi anafanya. We have 635,000. Sijui kama mnasikia, watu 635,054. That is more than the, Nyeri as a county has only 700,000 people. Yani kumaanisha in this region, already as we are speaking, by the Nakada statistics of 2022, tulikuwa na watu kama 700,000 ambao tayari wameingia katika mihadarati, pombe haramu, mambo kama hayo.
You don't need anybody to tell you. You just need to have eyes and to see what is happening. The World Drug Report of 2020 estimated that the world had 205 million people who consume illegal drugs and more than 207,000 died from drug-related issues. Unfortunately, these numbers continue to increase year after year.
Now, the government says it has already registered over 130,000 persons living with disability under the Inua Jamii program as one of its key focus to leave no one behind through inclusion in government programs. According to the Ministry of Labour, other initiatives like digitization programs that are user-friendly to persons with disabilities and health programs like the New Health Social Fund are all useful to these groups of Kenyan, and plans of sensitization programs at an advanced stage to ensure they align these government programs to the needs of persons living with disability.
We've launched self-registration as one of the key achievements of that commitment, so that we have to have more people to self-register themselves and to be brought on board. And then the other issue is the issue around health. This government has made a commitment to have 100% universal health coverage for persons with disabilities. So where are we with those conversations? As a council, actually now we are making conversation with the stakeholders around matters health, Minister of Health, NHIF, so that we can bring on board, all persons with disability to enjoy 100% health coverage. And we'll be starting with an enhanced cover for those with autism and other related developmental disorders. These groups, they have expensive lifestyle.
The government has done a lot in terms of policy and legislative development on the issues of persons with disabilities, where we want to ensure that all the persons with disabilities are included in the socio-economic development of the country. And it's a clarion call where we don't want to leave anyone behind, where all of us need to move forward and ensure that we develop as a country without any discrimination. In terms of employment, you are aware that it's a rule in all forms of employment or recruitment. There is that percentage, the 5%, which is left for persons with disability. If they have the required qualifications, they will get the jobs. And then you are also aware about this AGPO on issues of procurement, where 3% is also set aside for persons with disabilities.
Crossing borders now, and 20 people have been killed and nearly 2,000 inmates have escaped during the Sunday's attack on a military barracks, a prison and other locations in Sierra Leone. The West African country was drawn into panic in the early hours when the assailants sent gunfire ringing across the capital, Freetown. In an address on Sunday, President Julius Maada Bio said that most of the leaders of the attack had been arrested and that efforts to apprehend others were underway. The political situation in the West African nation has remained tense since the re-election of President Julius Maada Bio in a disputed election in June, the result of which was rejected by the main opposition candidate. At that time, President Maada Bio said that the anti-government protest that resulted in the death of 6 police officers and at least 21 civilians last August were an attempt to overthrow the government.
It's finally here. The breakfast show that will kickstart your morning with a message of hope, coupled up with wholesome music, and of course, captivating conversations that matter to you.
We shall touch on topics on law, relationships, the Christian walk, and in addition, we will also be keeping you up to date with news and all the trending topics.
Join me, Beatrice Watare,
and me, George Gishuru, every Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Hope at Dawn.
Only on Hope TV, where you look
and live.
Welcome back. Now let's get down to business. President William Ruto has said that his government is determined to actualize the best standards of worker protection and welfare to meet international labor standards. Speaking today when he graced the 5th Congress of the International Trade Union Confederation Africa in Nairobi, the head of state said that his administration recognizes labor relations and social security as human rights and fundamental freedoms.
by setting out the respective rights and obligations of workers, employers, and by implication, government, under Article 21 of our Constitution, the right to fair labor practices implicitly reflects the tripartism which forms the foundation of labor relations. The Labor Relations Act, which brings out this principle in greater detail to guide daily interactions in the workplace, is a case in point. Today, we have increased by about 450% our contribution to Social Security. In fact, we are going to double the money that we are saving at NSSF in the next 4.5 years. We will have doubled the money we have collected for 60 years. We are working in that space to increase the number of people, whether they are working locally, whether they are working in foreign, and whether they are working in remote locations. The whole concept is to create more workers.
Moving on swiftly, and the economic situation in Bungoma County is expected to improve as the Nzoia Sugar Factory is set to resume sugarcane milling next week. Addressing the media, the Board of Directors Chairman Alfred Hangati said that they have put in place strategies to ensure that the activities are well taken care of, and asked the farmers to deliver sugarcane to the factory, saying that the price has improved.
We have scheduled, now Nzoia has scheduled to start milling and other related activities as from 4th of December. When I say 4th, other related issues, you know, the operation of this factory and so on is not something like you wake up today and say, I'm starting to mill. You have to get things right. You have to get the factory right. So we are starting the entire process on 4th. I want to take this opportunity to ask farmers to release the cane to us. Our staff will be there trying to ascertain which cane is ready, then we start harvesting.
So tunawaomba kabisa wakulima wetu turudi shambani. That is where we are going to get money. Na tukirudi shambani, hii bei ya shilingi 650 for sure tukipiga hesabu tunaona kwamba itatuletea pesa. Mimi pia naye nimeingia shambani. Hata mimi nimetafuta shamba pande hii na ninaanza kupanda miwa.
We should now move away from the cane, the old cane variety which matures after 18 months. That we now want to focus on early maturing variety, that by 12-14 months it should be ready for harvest, and it has a higher sucrose level. But that is now our second phase in the entire exercise.
Samia Africa PLC has today unveiled their new business strategy that focuses on the creation of purpose-built industrial warehouses. The company has broken ground for a 260 million shillings purpose-built warehouse that is slated to commence operations by mid-2024. This is in line with their new vision to craft facilities that align with the distinct needs of their tenants and fulfill the escalating demand for customized warehousing services.
This warehouse that we are breaking ground on today is a modern warehouse, what in other circles would be considered a grade A warehouse. This facility is designed with the edge specifications. That means that we are designing it to consume 20% less power and 20% less water consumption. In addition to the edge certification, we are also making this warehouse to be ready for solar. So we are designing it to be able to take solar panels onto the roof. We have designed it to maximize on daylight so that we can save also on electricity. We are also going to be having LED lighting in the facility. So a whole mix-up of design facilities to make sure that our tenants can be able to reduce or at least offset their carbon footprint. We have a timeline for construction for 30 weeks from today we will construct this warehouse in 30 weeks. Just to give you a bit of context, we have been in discussions with the partner who we are in discussions to take up this facility. We started having these discussions about 6 months ago, and so we are a team that moves quite fast from design to breaking ground in 6 months, and we'll also have the facility up in 30 weeks. So in less than a year, we can be able to start conversations and design for any interested client a built-to-suit facility that is specifically tailored for their operations. This is going to be a single unit of 4,000 square meters, and it's specifically designed for the needs of our client.
And to some sports in action now, Kenyan rally legend Ian Duncan has received a major boost for this year's East African Safari Classic Rally from the Farmers Choice Company. The company has committed to support Ian Duncan's participation at the 11th edition of the Safari Classic Rally running from the 9th of December. Ian Duncan and his navigator Jaspal Madaru will take on 62 other drivers covering over 4,000 kilometers across the rally route, marking the largest number of driver entries in the history of the rally.
Rallying is a great, really fun sport, but it can be pretty expensive and pretty hard to organize, and a lot of logistics and support needed. So a huge big thank you to Jim and everyone else at Farmers Choice. It's really an honor to be back here again. It's, like Jim said, like 30-something years ago or something, it's, we were told, like he said, you're going to have a flying sausage on your car. And so when we turned up at the start of a rally and everyone saw our car, then you can imagine we were the joke of the day. But by the end of it, so Yuhua was leading and crashed, and we ended up first and managed to stay on first. Then the boot was on the other foot. So actually we got to laugh at everyone that we might have the funniest car, but we'd kicked everyone's butt as it was. So but then all when all the jokes started like being the other way, that actually, you know, like we saved the bacon and the sausages were flying and whatever. But yeah, so huge thanks to Farmers Choice for their help then, and thank you again for this rally. So we'd kind of bullied them, said, see, you can help us again, and they go, yeah, that's a good idea. So actually it was like really a very funny way to find a sponsor, but it really worked, so thank you everyone. I also think, like, as a Kenyan, we should be really proud. This is one of a few companies that has actually been working for over 40 years and building Kenya, using Kenyan products, using Kenyan staff. There's not many left these days. You know, we see them coming and going, and no one really seems to help. So congrats to everyone here. It's really nice that something can be so nice and still working. And, you know, sometimes it's not the easiest place for business in this country. But well done, everyone.
The national women's football team Harambee Starlets have continued to intensify the training at the Nyayo Stadium ahead of tomorrow's first leg 2024 Women Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against Botswana. Harambee Starlets will look to maximize on home advantage and beat Botswana in a convincing way, with the two sides clash tomorrow at the Nyayo Stadium. Kenya hosts Botswana in the first leg of the 2024 WAFCON final round of the qualifiers, with the return leg set for a week later in Gaborone. The Kenyan girls defied odds to eliminate Cameroon in the past round on post-match penalties after a 1-1 draw on aggregate in regular time. Botswana, on the other hand, crushed Gabon 10-1 on aggregate to book a date with the Starlets.
Government is offering full support. We have facilitated the release of Cheryl Langashi from Cheryl is actually, as you can see from her haircut, she's undergoing KDF training. She's a KDF recruit, and I'm very, very grateful to the KDF, General Ogola, the CDF. I want to thank him really for accepting my plea for Cheryl to be released from training to join the rest of the girls. So from government side, we've done everything possible to make sure that we avail the best players possible to the technical bench. So at the end of the day now, it is 11 versus 11 tomorrow. And the 12th player, you great Kenyan people in the stands. We must stand up in good numbers and cheer our girls to victory.
It would mean everything, obviously, and making the second appearance will give us like the most confidence to show the people that it wasn't just a fluke that we went there the first time. Big stage, and yeah, obviously it gives us the opportunity to show our talents around the world.
Look, games are different. Gabon is not Kenya. Cameroon is not Botswana. So obviously, even for Kenyan technical team, they approach the game slightly different. And we're also going to approach the game slightly different from how we played against Gabon. So each game has its own demands, and we can only adapt toward the game demands.
The end of our news tonight. Many thanks to you for watching Hope TV Newswatch. On behalf of the whole team that made this broadcast a success, have yourselves a blessed night. My name is Kennedy Kimani, and my co-presenter on the sign language interpretation tonight has been Boniface Moredi.